waking up this morning.
Uh, I felt the same way this morning. I went back to sleep.
Yeah, I hit snooze 3 times.
I sat up to meditate and I was like, guys, sorry. I'm not coming. I'm going back to sleep.
I'll
Right
meditate in the astral while I nap.
yeah. Can I do two things at once? Let me travel the astral plane, meditate, and align to my body. Like, come on, give it to me all at the same time.
Never a dull moment as things are ramping up, hey?
Never a dull moment. And ramping up is such a good word. Such a good word.
Well, because we're going up in vibration. We're flying up a ramp like a launch pad.
Yeah. And it is that intense too. Like
Yeah.
you watch this rocket just go ah, and yeah, that's exactly what it's been like. Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
My mediumship last night, I don't know what it is, but I've been taking some leaps forward in my mediumship. And yesterday I saw someone else's experience clear as day. It almost knocked me out of my seat. Because I wasn't expecting it, and it was how they died in a past life.
Oh wow.
And it was almost like for a moment, I was for just an instant, I was experiencing it, and that was really intense. That was, like I said, it nearly knocked me off my seat. It took me 10 minutes to compose myself.
Yeah.
I was just like, holy shit.
And that's kind of what I was talking to you about earlier when I was like, it's quantum leaping. Like you're having these experiences, they're so visceral. Something that would have taken you maybe years to get okay with, you're like, I know what that was, and it just happened, and I'm okay.
It's nice to have a medium with me that I can validate it. You know what I mean? The soul guides can validate what I saw, because otherwise I would have thought I was completely nuts. It's funny how the ego still gets in the way. The more we kind of evolve, the more we kind of accept all sorts of crazy things about this world as a reality. You still have that nagging voice in the back of the mind going, "You're crazy."
I gotta keep you safe. Come back here.
Yeah, come back to the sane people. It's kind of funny though, because I've had so much evidence to support it. I'm no longer like on the fence. I'm 100,000% a believer, but at the same time, it seems so crazy that you're still pinching yourself.
Yeah. I hear that. I hear that. Quantum leap is the only word that I can even use right now. I'm probably going to use it 1,000 times today. It's just in the morning, something is presented, and by the mid afternoon, it's manifested into reality. And you're like, what am I supposed to be doing with this? And I've been saying that actually, like, what am I supposed to be doing with this? And my guides, and they're not even supportive or helpful. They're just like, wrong question. It's like,
okay, wrong question. I've heard that a few times.
Right question.
So what is the right question? You'll figure it out.
Yeah, right? Like, oh, no, please don't. Please don't make me.
Maybe it's like Jeopardy. We're supposed to be finding the answer before the question.
What?
Maybe.
How is that? Like,
that was Charlie. Thank you, Charlie. Handling my guide there.
That was profound. The Earth plane is a Jeopardy game.
Oh, I mean, double Jeopardy if you want to take it literally.
That was brilliant. I love
it. Absolutely is. It's totally a game, I guess, in many different aspects.
Oh, for sure. But Jeopardy sums it up. Like you'll get all the answers, but you won't understand anything that it means until you have the right question. Whew. That was intense. Thank you. You just solved a few mysteries for me.
You're so funny. You made my morning. By the way, hello and good morning, everybody. I'm enjoying my chat with Dr. Traci so much already. I'm kind of like just in the zone here. Hello.
I love nice to see you all. Mug. I love that
Thank
mug.
you, my baby Siddhartha mug. Yeah. Honoring the jewel in the lotus.
I love that.
I've been having such wonderful visitors pop in. Siddhartha pops in to say hello on occasion. I had Dolores Cannon pop in last night to say hello. it was so nice because I was doing clearings with Adriana and Bradley, and we put in the aftercare to read about Between Death and Life because it's such a profound book. I mean, Between Death and Life is one of my favorite books ever. And as we mentioned her, she was like, "I'm here." And it was so beautiful to hear from her. We actually started crying. We're like, "We love you, Dolores." And she's like, "I'm around more often than you think." She's like, she's like a fairy godmother to me, and I just love her so much. I really do.
Wouldn't she be in her absolute glory in the material form right now? Like she would just be like, "Told you."
She's loving the show right now, and she's busier now than she was when she was incarnate. I mean, she's such a busy woman. I just love her so much, and her energy is so beautiful. And it's just, we were so blessed with that visit last night. It has had me in such a good mood ever since.
That is so good. When you get a visit from a loved one, there's some sort of a visceral wave that lasts for a few days because the second she touched you, whether it was your mind,
she touched my face. I felt something touch my face, and I was like, "Oh, what's that?" And they were like, "That was her."
And that ripple is now downloading a whole bunch of stuff, and so you get to like be in that field for a couple of days.
No, we're so blessed to have this support that we have in the other side, And the guides keep telling me they're so proud of how far we've come in such a short period. And I'm like, thank the shift. Like, this is not all me. Like, as you were saying, those quantum leaps that we've been doing recently have been really intense. And sometimes, it's funny. One of my, I think it was Zach that said, yeah, hold on to your pants because things are going to get more intense as we move on. And I was like, what does that even mean? And now I understand. Now I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the flares that have been coming through here recently, making everybody feel very like,
yeah.
And just energetically, you can tell things are getting more intense.
And I think people are no longer terrified of speaking their truth. Like that doesn't resonate with me, and this does. And I don't need to do what you ask me to do, no matter how nicely you keep asking me every time I say no. Like we're just, it just feels like we've matured so much as a collective. And there's going to be some of us who are like, I'm not going to grow up. But I think most of us are like, oh, there's a whole new world above this unconscious incompetence.
Oh, it's so funny. It was Adriana's birthday on Sunday, and she didn't tell anybody. And I'm like, why didn't you tell me your birthday? She's like, I don't celebrate those. And I was like, what do you mean you don't celebrate? She's like, why would I celebrate getting older? I'm getting younger. So as long as I don't celebrate my birthday, don't even think about it. I'm the same age. I never age. And I was like,
what if we shifted, and I'm just making a suggestion, what if we shifted out of it celebrating the age that we're at and we're celebrating our awesomeness, our success, our shifting, our changing, our celebrating. Like, how cool is it to look at a picture of you as a baby and to imagine that you're going to be 90 years old? And that's a lot of celebration. There's a lot to celebrate. So good.
Well, age is just a number anyway. I forgot how old I was. I was 37 2 years in a row because I completely forgot how old I actually was. So it's funny. You just forget. It doesn't matter, right? Age is just a number. It's how you feel anyway.
Yeah. I'm really lucky because I was born in a 1 year. And so anytime someone says, how old are you? I'm like, it's 2025 minus that by 1. Ooh, I know how old I am. Yeah, so good. So good.
Well, I do think that the years, isn't it crazy that we're already in June?
Yes. And the weather isn't supporting us in remembering that at all.
No, it's not. It's telling us that we're still at the end of April.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's been very weird lately.
Yeah. Everything's been weird. the way people are growing, the weather, time. Like, as much as we want to stand in the true element of there is no such thing as space and time, we also have to realize that we chose a timeline to exist on. And it's insane. It is, like, literally, I was saying this to you earlier. What would normally take 3 weeks is happening in a singular day.
Yeah.
What is going on? What is going on?
And what would normally take 3 years is happening in a month.
Right. Right.
I've noticed this, but especially with mediumship, because I remember that several people have said, "Oh, it'll take you about 5 to 10 years to develop your mediumship." And I'm like, "Really? That's a long time." They're like, "Yeah, but it'll go fast." And then like a year later, then we're already like tuning into what we would expect to be at 5 years, and we're like, "Yeah, you weren't kidding about it being quick."
Yeah. Yeah. I think that
it's not the same. As Michelle just said, time is just not the same. It doesn't feel the same.
it's not the same. And I think it's part of the lesson in so much as, well, here's why. We chose Earth, which means we chose a body.
Yeah.
Which means we have to be grounded on a timeline. And so when we're not the witness, everything is going all over the place. But when we're the witness, we're just watching it. We don't have to experience that visceral, I'm going to call it trauma. When time moves so fast, there's an element of trauma. And you kind of explained it earlier when you said that seed of doubt still pops in. That's just the old trauma surfacing saying, what are you doing? Why are you being so awesome? That's a lot of work. And so what if we decided that our only responsibility was to be in integrity with our frequency, that our body was grounded, our heart was open, and we were connected to all of the divine intelligence? Would that change anything?
I think it would change a lot of things for a lot of people, to be honest.
I would too.
Because I think part of what I've noticed the last few days, I was even commenting it on the podcast yesterday, is people seem very aloof. Like they're just not anchored into a certain frequency, if you know what I mean. They're just kind of like, they could float away. If their heads weren't attached, they would just kind of like a balloon. And so, go ahead.
No, I'm an interrupter. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. We have a bit of lag with the Wi-Fi anyway. I was just saying, like, it's just people are starting to recognize that the energies are affecting them more than they've noticed before previously.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's an old saying that someone's off in their own world. And I think the challenge right now in our collective energy is we're off in everybody else's world. We're not really minding our own business. And what I mean by that, tending to our own body, tending to our own heart, tending to our own mind, tending to our own spirit. We're worried about what everybody else is thinking, doing, being, having, seeing, getting. And so, yeah, let's ground.
Kathleen says I started gardening to help with the floating. I did as well, Kathleen. I went and planted a bunch of herbs and flowers yesterday. Yep. Same. It helps with grounding, getting your hands out in the dirt, getting out in the water, getting out in nature, hugging a tree, being in the sun. Yep. Getting fresh air. Very important right now.
Is it warm enough for you to have plants to be planting?
Finally, in the last week, it has been. So now everybody's trying to play catch up with all their gardening. It was funny.
Imagine.
Because it's been crazy weather. Like we're still trying to warm up here. It's not been very warm. It's making up for it. It's going to be 80 all this week. So it's going to make up for it this week. We didn't have a spring. I swear we jumped from winter to summer. It was very interesting.
Even last night it was 7 degrees. Like at 11:30 it was 7 degrees. Or I guess I don't know what 7 degrees is for you guys.
Poor Canada's also dealing with fires too right now. Like Canada is just getting whiplash up there as it is with the weather and then all the disasters that have been happening up there. There's a lot of changes that are occurring on this planet. Did you see what happened in Switzerland? That whole glacier collapsed?
No. Tell me.
Whole glacier collapsed and buried a whole town.
A whole town.
Whole town. They evacuated. They saved everybody. They knew there were geologists that were studying it, and they had warning that it was going to collapse, and they were right. Thank God they listened to those geologists, because there were 300 people that lived in that village, and the whole village is buried. So the earth is shifting too. We've actually seen, even there was a video of tectonic plates literally shifting and moving. So, I mean, you can tell the earth is going through changes too. I was talking about that the other day with Kat Irwin, because she's also funny. She studies grids and things. And we're noticing that Gaia is shifting. It's almost like we're dealing with a very slow pole shift in a way.
Yeah. Well, and I'd like to think of it as when you are stagnant, when anyone is stagnant, the best metaphysical advice is to move. You've got to move. You've got to get slow. You've got to get back into the body. You've got to find that. Why would that be any different for her? She's got to move.
Yep. She's waking up. She's increasing in frequency. It's like the earth is already aware. And it's funny because so many times we will ask, about star seeds and reasons why people, as you say, you chose to come to earth, and many star seeds did. And then we ask why they came, why they chose to come. And many of them said they were responding to earth, not just the humans, but they were responding to Gaia, who put out that call for help.
Yeah. Yeah.
So even the planet was like, enough is enough.
In mysticism, it's believed that those of us born in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s who were called here were called because we were open enough, we were curious enough to come in case there was a fifth dimensional awakening. Not knowing that there was, we came to kind of lead the way. And as you know, somewhere in that, things got distorted and destructed. But the unique piece of that is those of us born in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, we still have that power to align to her message. And it's work for us. Whereas those of you born in the 90s and on, it doesn't have to be work for you, but you were trained by us.
I was saying the trailblazers, yes, the way showers.
Yeah. And our parents, our generation, that generation of parents, they were so unconsciously incompetent. They didn't know that they didn't even know. And so they instilled so much fear in us that those of us from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, we're still shaking off that fear, but it's contagious. And so those 90s past are like, they're defiant. I know every generation is defiant, but they're defiant in ways that their body will not accept the messages or the training, let's call it training. The really, I don't want to say this, but I'm going to, the really bad training that they received.
Well, they didn't exactly read the fine print on things either. Some of them came in here, they're getting a little mortified because weren't completely aware of the situation down here. So, and I have noticed like there's some people that almost have like a shell shock to them. And then you look into it and you find out, oh, okay, they're a real stars. They're a new star seed. They haven't been here very long. And they came from a high dimension where everything was all sunshine and fluffy bunny rainbows. And, they didn't expect that this was going to be so hard.
And that's the thing.
The heart beat when I said that. Heart palpitation when I said that.
I have a 38-minute video. I'll see if I can pass it over to you guys. It's called The Divine Assignment, and it literally talks about when you were part of the divine field and you got in line. Let's make it something we can understand. This part isn't true, but doesn't matter. You get in line and you're like, oh, I want to be one of the ones that goes to Earth. I don't want to be this absolutely all-knowing, perfect energy with absolute, complete divine intelligence. I want my own experience. I want thoughts and feelings. I want a body that's gonna die in a really short period of time. Oh my God, sign me up, sign me up, sign me up. And we're so energetically excited to be anything. And I want everybody to hear this, to be anything but what we are. This is the human disease, the desire to be anything than what we are. And so we get to our almost place in line, and I'm going to use the word God. I hope that doesn't offend anyone. And God says, oh, you're ready. You want to go to the third dimension. Okay, well, you need all of these things. You need to make some big decisions. And you're like, okay, well, and it's kind of like the first time that you go to an ice cream store and it's got 74 toppings, and you're like, well, I'll just take a little bit of everything.
I love that. It's a beautifully optimistic perspective that you have, because mine is more like, all right, we were drawing straws and I drew the short one.
Nice try, though. Nice try.
I guess it's my turn. Fine, I'll go.
Well, let's take
you guys better keep an eye on things from back there.
Have you ever read Neil Donald Walsh's The Little Soul and the Sun?
No.
Oh, you guys, it's supposed to be a child's parable, but it's literally about an angel who wants to go to Earth, and her power energy or her purpose, her promise to God is forgiveness. She's going there to learn forgiveness, and she's all excited because she thinks that the forgiveness is like this incredibly powerful energy, and it's going to be so beautiful. But she doesn't know that when she gets there, all kinds of shitty shit has to happen to her so that she actually embodies and is able to forgive. And her little friend says, I will go, and I'll be the one that does the shitty shit things to you, so that in your very deepest remembering, you'll know who you are. You'll remember who you are. You'll know that you're loved, and you'll learn all your lessons. And she's like, okay, let's do it. And then we get here, and the whole purpose of being here is Earth School. We're here to learn how to be an individual. So physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, character, ourself. But we also have to deal with them, the influential others, our intimate love, our parent-child, our social. And if these don't merge, and I don't mean merge to become the same, if they don't merge back into oneness, wholeness, like how a puzzle fits together, then we actually can't master life, which is the ridiculous things like career, finances, quality of life, vision for the future, things only human beings have. And so in that moment that you aren't learning those lessons, you cannot remember who you are or why you're here. And so we've got this entire culture that has been created around, let's make money because that's so important.
Yes.
And we don't take the time. I teach this class called Activate Your Power. And over 21 days, guided the whole way, I teach you this really powerful, I mean like healing disease powerful technique that you can do in just 90 seconds. But in order to heal a disease or to align you to your timeline or for you to remember, you actually have to do the 90-second technique every 24 hours. I actually had someone say to me, and it's $100 to take the course. I had someone come back to me and say, I just can't commit to the 90 seconds every day. And in that moment, this gigantic light just came out, and it was like, that's what's wrong with us. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with you or me, but as a collective, that's what's wrong with us. We think time is a commodity. Time is the opportunity. If you spent 90 seconds completely activating your 3 sacred centers, cleansing and purifying your 7 main chakras, expanding your 4 main biofields, you wouldn't need all that other shit that,
What was that one quote? You should meditate for 20 minutes a day, and if you don't have 20 minutes, you should meditate for an hour.
That's it. No, that's it. That's it, right? Like
If you don't have 20 minutes, you need that hour, because technically you're probably burned out and exhausted and frustrated, and
100%. And so here we are with this massive divine assignment to master one thing. And it starts with remembering what that one thing is. And most people die not knowing what we're here to master.
I'm going to end up repeating that cycle again.
And then that's the short straw. And my whole point of getting there was when you said, and I drew the short straw. Yeah, you drew the short straw because your straw is so short because you didn't learn enough when you came every single time.
Mm-hmm.
So cool.
And then also, I hate to say it, but sometimes we get so wildly off course, we end up accumulating more when we're supposed to be purging.
100%.
We end up accumulating more karma that we're trying to pay off rather than actually doing what we came here to do, because we get so distracted by all of the things here. And it's a challenge because, not remembering is the biggest challenge. Most other ET races remember. So just having that one factor alone ends up often causing us to create these downward spirals where we have more and more trauma and we get more and more triggered. Yeah. And then it's by the end of it, we come back and we're like frightened little bunny rabbits, scared of our own shadow because we don't want to trigger more trauma again.
That's right. Kathleen Phillips says, call it, or school I prefer, shit show. And Kathleen, totally awesome, get it. But that's our challenge right there. When we have this divine assignment and we look at it and we're like, fuck that, and we throw it away, that is the exact opposite of why we're here. The curiosity that has been stolen from us over the last, 2025 years, that curiosity that's been stolen from us makes statements like that our own poison. I hate this. This is a shit show. This isn't what I'm here for. I'm going to do it different.
We beat ourselves up too. I did a clearing on somebody the other day and I found a cursed mirror in her house. And I was like, cursed mirror? How did the mirror get cursed? And they said, because of the way she talks to herself in front of the mirror. Yeah. And I was like, oh, damn. Like that's intense. And one person I've seen this before where someone even cursed themselves by saying things like, hate myself.
Yeah.
They curse themselves that way. That's so sad, because we're here to truly love and understand ourselves more even so than other people. And to not love yourself is like saying like you don't love the universe because you are the universe. You don't love existing.
Yeah.
And that's really sad. And I still think about that because it's like, what more can we do to love ourselves and to embrace? Source chose to be you. It could have been anybody in the whole existence of people, and Source chose to be you.
Yeah. I love that. I'm going to do some shameless self-promotion, if that's okay. Taylor asked, do I still have that course? I do. And it starts tonight with a free masterclass. And then the following Tuesday, for 3 weeks, 3 Tuesdays in a row for the 21-day cycle, we go live with activations. It's called Activate Your Power. And I probably have a link, so I'll see if I can grab it.
But sending you lots of love, Mary. Sorry. You got the link?
Can you tell me what's happening with Mary? Because I missed it.
No, she just said that was my friend, the client that I was just referring to. Oh. Yeah. I'm glad we could help. Yeah. When we reject ourselves, we are rejecting God. Good point, Ray.
Good point, Ray.
If you don't love yourself, you should be telling yourself that you love yourself as many times as you need to until you believe it. Yes, exactly, Ariana.
Here's the thing. Let's not confuse like and love. You can have moments, I hope. You can have moments of not liking yourself, like your body or your thoughts or the experiences that you're in. But that doesn't mean there can't be love for yourself. Have you not ever had a child or a partner or a best friend that in that moment you're like, I do not like you right now, I need a minute? But there's still that underlying powerful energy of love.
I had that
That's what
moment
we
this
have to
morning
find.
because Aiden threw a giant ball. He had a handful of slime. And he threw it up as high as he could, and it stuck to my ceiling. And now I have a ball of my perfectly white. It's the only paint in the whole house that doesn't need to be fixed. And now there's slime hanging from my ceiling. And I looked up at it, and I was just like, I can tell him, like, Mommy still loves you very much, but Mommy is very upset right now. You need to go somewhere else.
Mommy loves you, but you better leave really fast.
It's a good thing you're going to school right now because I'm going to have a big flip out when you leave.
That's so funny. That is so funny.
But this is why, we all have those moments. That's a learning and teaching moment. Now he knows not to throw slime at the ceiling because it's not going to come down.
Yeah.
We all learn the hard way sometimes.
It's never coming down. It's never coming down. Oh my gosh. So much
funny.
fun.
Oh yeah, so I have your link here. Here it is. Linktree with Dr. Traci.
So the link that Lara's sharing has everything on it. But the Activate Your Power is the 21-day quest that aligns you to have that 90-second daily treatment. It's focused on activating the 3 sacred centers. So our heart is soul sacred center. There are 33 layers of heart that need to be open in order for us to be that divine channel. Our pineal, which is our ego's filtration system, the filters that have been created by collective energy need to be activated. The biome, which is where every cell in our body gets its direction, needs to be activated. And then we create an infinity figure 8 super highway that flows through the entire infrastructure of your being. So the 7 main chakras, which are actually not spiraling balls of energy, they are sacred guides that have incarnated with your soul through every timeline and dimension. It's actually the chakras that allow you to have other life experiences and rememberings because they are with every incarnation of your soul, no matter its timeline or dimension. But they have to be clear and pure in order for you to receive that information. And then we have 4 biofields that, like protective energy around us, are keeping us in tune to our own field. So there's a physical bioenergetic field that from your heart to as far as your arms reach out, that is your personal space. So if there's leaks in that, if there are breakdowns in that, if it's actually falling in on you, you are not protected from the collective. And I'm saying this with so much love, so hear this. It doesn't matter what you do in the material world to protect yourself if your physical bioenergetic field has collapsed or have leaks. That is how entities, attachments, and non-beneficial energies get access, because you're radiating something they want and the front door is open.
Yep. Fear, frustration, anger, it's all food for them. Yep.
It's a buffet.
Drama.
It's a buffet, right? If you were offered a free buffet, you never have to pay for groceries ever again. Are you not going to go into that space? Absolutely you are. You have a emotional bioenergetic field. This is your soul's compass. Your feelings are how you're meant to navigate this reality. If it feels aligned, not good or bad, because it could feel bad but still be aligned. If it feels aligned, it's a yes. If it doesn't feel aligned, it's a no. But we don't know how to use that compass because we weren't taught. Then there's the mental biofield. This is where ego stores all of the information that's like, ooh, remember that one time when we were 3 and this happened? It feels just like this. So I'm going to use this part, this 3-year-old little person part, to protect us right now. And then there's the spiritual bioenergetic field. And I want to tell you about this because this is your magic backpack. When you were standing at that precipice that I talked about earlier, where you were like, oh, I get to go earthbound. I get to go earthbound. God gave to you this backpack. This is your spiritual bioenergetic field. It runs like a 5th dimensional tube through the core of your being. And its purpose was for you to take all of the incredible experiences that you learned about being human and to put it in that to deposit into your Akashic record when this timeline's over. But instead, we put everything in that backpack. And so you're like this tall, your backpack is this tall. So if your backpack is this tall and you're wearing it on your shoulders and you want to go somewhere, your little legs are dangling and you're not moving. Nowhere. So
it reminds me of those little people that try to carry a heavy backpack and they're like a turtle on their back.
Yeah. Yes. So activate your power in those 21 days. I teach you how to how to activate the 3 sacred centers, cleanse and purify the chakras, and seal the leaks in your biofield. And at the end of it, that whole process takes 90 seconds. You can do it while you're brushing your teeth if you have the ability to do 2 things, brush your teeth and imagine. Some people cannot. Some people cannot.
I need like Post-it notes with these things written around my mirror or something so I don't forget in the morning. When I brush my teeth, I'm like, oh yeah, because this has been programmed, brushing my teeth I've been doing since I was a kid. I remember it every day like it's muscle memory, whereas some other things you have to literally relearn and retrain yourself to do things in a different way. And that is rather daunting when you realize how many things we do in a detrimental way, like the way we go to sleep at night and the way that we, our self-care is pretty abysmal right now for most of us.
It really is. And in psychology, there's a really key, super simple way of rewiring the neural pathways of our brain that nobody talks about. And it's this simple. You'll never forget this. Stop and start. When we want to stop doing something, let's talk like stop smoking or stop eating sugar or, stop saying yes to everybody. No matter what it is that we want to stop, the decision to stop is not even the most important part of the equation. If you just decide, it's only going to last until the next ego trigger. We have to decide what we're going to stop and how that void gets replaced. So let's say I want to stop smoking, so I'll start humming. And every time you go to light up, you start humming. All of a sudden, the brain rewires and says, oh, I didn't want a smoke. I wanted to raise my frequency and vibration. I wanted to feel safe. And
I wanted to alleviate my boredom.
Sure, exactly, whatever it is. But if we don't fill that vacuum with something else, the neural pathway of the brain isn't forming. And so you're living in force, not flow. You're not in free will, you're in willpower. And those are 2 completely different things.
Thank you for pointing that out. That's a very helpful perspective. Especially for those of us who are trying to relearn healthier habits, so to speak.
And you know what? I'd like to take that because I've just learned something really cool about myself this week. Quantum jumping, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What we think is healthy for us may not be. So I've taken my human design and my human being user manual, and I've combined them with a bunch of questions like, is it true that? And so, for example, I've forced myself my whole life to get up at 7 o'clock and in the morning. And 7 o'clock in the morning, I needed to say that. And a guide came to me when I asked these, what I think are big questions, and literally said, take 30 more minutes. And I'm like, that isn't the answer to my question. I wanted to know what the best routine was for me. And I got, take 30 more minutes. And so when I finally clued in that it was like from the question 7 questions ago, I started sleeping until 7:30. And guess what? When I wake up at 7, I'm groggy, I'm weeble wobbly, things don't flow. But when I set my alarm for 7:30, I wake up at 7:25, wide awake and ready to go. That last 25 minutes, and I have an Aura ring, that last 25 minutes is when my heartbeat drops and my HRV rises. And my HRV is how well I handle stress. So if I get up at 7 with an alarm, my ability to handle stress is lower. 25 additional minutes have changed my life.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Well, you just explained why I hit snooze 3 times this morning. That's my excuse now. Yes.
And so what time did your alarm go off the first time?
7.
What if you set an alarm just for the next week for 7:30 and see what happens?
Yeah, that's true because I don't get out of bed till 7:30 anyway. Okay,
Right?
I'll try that out.
And so you're going to stop hitting snooze.
Because I hit it, it's 10-minute snoozes. I hit it 3 times this morning, so I may as well take it that extra 30 minutes
Right?
anyway.
Right? And here's the really cool thing. So you're going to stop hitting snooze at 7, and you're going to start letting your body wake you up between 7 and 7:30.
Okay.
You still have to make that.
Well, it's interesting because I've asked my guides to wake me up for certain things. I'll tell them, wake me up in 1 hour, just 1 hour nap, but I don't want to set an alarm. And they will wake me up exactly an hour later. And I've told them before, like when I'm in a sensory deprivation tank, I don't like getting woken up by the bright lights and the sounds. So wake me up 30 seconds before it finishes. And I don't even have to tell them anymore. They do it automatically. Like they automatically wake me up right 30 seconds before. So you can kind of reprogram things, but you can also ask your guides to do things for you as well.
100%, 100%. But do you think that your guides have reprogrammed the neural pathway so you can receive their message?
Maybe that's why they want me to stop smoking.
Maybe that's why they want you to stop smoking, because smoking will dull the way in which the information is channeled, because your cells don't have what they need to channel that information. Well, Margaret says she's up at 5:30. Margaret, that's the night before. And I will not.
Yes, exactly. It should be illegal to be up before the sun.
It should be. Even if it's not. So good.
So funny. But that's good. I really appreciate that. Now I have a deeper understanding as to why they're so adamant about it. And why they're kind of like, this is for your best good. Come on, you need this. So
let me go a little deeper and activate your power one more time. And if anybody knows Zach Bush or has heard of Zach Bush, listening to him will just bring all of this together. Your biome, the gut cells, are actually the body's brain. We've been trained to believe that the mind is the body's brain. The mind is actually the transmitter and the receiver of divine intelligence, but all of the translation happens in the belly. So the more clear and pure you put in your body, whether it's food, smoke, drink, it doesn't matter what it is, the more pure it is, the healthier those cells are. And the cells that have been assigned to interpreting your divine wisdom, interpreting the messages from your guides, connecting through each of those chakras is more clear. And so you can drink, I can drink from this glass but I have no idea what's in it because I can't see through it. So I'm hoping this is good. But if I was drinking from this glass,
Yeah.
I would already know what's in there, and I'd be like,
Great
I'm
analogy.
not drinking that shit. Right?
Wow. That's a great analogy. All these people talking about how they have to get up at 5:30 or 3 a.m. 3 a.m. Really, Leanne? Oh my gosh.
That is the day before. That is the day before. That body clock
Get up at
must
the
be
wishing
so
hour.
confused. Yeah.
That's funny. Well, I imagine people like to get up early for the same reason that I like to stay up late, is that nobody bothers you and it's nice and quiet and peaceful. And my mind is the most relaxed that I can get the most done at night when I'm working.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
the rest of the world isn't overstimulating me. So it's easier.
Well, we have two chronotypes, right? You're either an early day or a late evening, which is when you're most.
Or you just don't sleep and you're both. There's some people that stay up late and get up early. I used to do that myself. Yeah. But this is why I say, like, I feel like we don't even need as much sleep as we used to. It's weird. It's like with the time speeding up, it's almost like sleep is one of those things that's kind of going to the wayside a little bit.
Well, let's be careful with that because we're spirit energy having a human experience. We're still a body, and the body needs breath. You got to breathe. The body needs movement. We have to move. The body needs nutrition. The body needs hydration, and the body needs sleep.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, anybody see the auroras last night? We were hearing a lot about that. I kept getting texts to see the auroras because we've been getting some very interesting activity in space as well. And so, yeah, for those of you who are up late at night, you never know what you might find looking up these days.
Yeah.
I'm gonna drop you a link one more time here just to plug it again, just to rehash, because we have almost 100 people watching now, and earlier we didn't have as many. So do you want to just explain a little bit about the 21 days?
Yeah. So every month on the first Tuesday, I do a free masterclass on how to activate your power. I teach you the 3 sacred centers: pineal, heart, and biome, what they are, why they're so important, and how, with or without your awareness, they are literally guiding you. They are the support centers for your 7 main chakra, which are the guides that incarnate in every lifetime, timeline, and dimension that your soul is in. So they are the translators of your first language called energy. And the 4 biofields that, when they collapse or leak, your human experience becomes overwhelming, frustrating, and chaotic. And so in this 90-minute masterclass, I'll teach you the 3 sacred centers, the 7 main chakras, the 4 biofields, and I'll invite you to join me in a 21-day quest where over those 21 days, we activate the heart, the pineal, and the biome. We create an infinity figure 8 super highway of energy that moves through your field, that seals the leaks, that cleanses and purifies the chakras, and keeps the sacred centers activated. Think of this as spiritual hygiene. 90 seconds of this process every day, and depending on the extreme condition of your physical body, 90 seconds every day of this treatment has been known to heal disease in the physical body. But it's a commitment. It's a big commitment. 90 seconds every single 24 hours. And so it's called Activate Your Power. It starts this Tuesday. Oh, today. It starts tonight as a free masterclass. And then we start the 21 days next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Wonderful. Thank you, Cherise, for dropping Dr. Traci's info in the comments. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
So for people that have never done anything like this before, what kind of results could you expect?
Pretty immediately. You're going to have a clarity of mind, because part of what's happening is the filters or the programs of the mind, the filters of the mind are being dissolved by the power of heart. So when we resonate to our own breath, we literally learn to breathe. We're building bridges to each of the main sacred centers. So clarity, a sense of calmness. For some, there is that it gets worse before it gets better, because it starts to detoxify the physical body and the spiritual body. And over long periods of time, it's going to change the way you choose to feed your body, the way you choose to move your body. It creates sensitivity. So the more sensitive you are to your body, the more sensitive you're going to be to your guide. The more sensitive you're going to be to the collective, but also more enabled in creating that safe space around you. Those are things that you can expect pretty immediately. A year of doing this, you're going to change the dysfunction and the disease, because what we're doing is we're feeding the cells with quantum life force energy. And so the cells, you're healing at the cellular level. So think of it as a transfusion. This energy is going into a cell and saying, you know what, I love you, but you're not doing your job anymore, and you're fired. And that cell energetically is being repositioned to a new frequency and vibration. So it's pretty powerful.
Thank you, Ariana, by the way. I appreciate you. Let me see if we can figure that. The link isn't working, Dr. Tracy. Let me see if we can. I'll try it here.
Let me see it, and I will tell you what I did wrong.
Yeah, the link tree one.
So it should be linktr.ee//
Oh, there we go. I see the problem. Yeah. The dot was in the wrong spot, is all.
The dot was in the wrong spot.
There it is.
Magic.
We can't let the dot be in the wrong spot. There we go. Now we're set. Yes, breath work is one of those things that my guides are constantly putting in people's aftercare. Grounding and breath work, because your body is not going to be in good alignment if you're not breathing properly. And this is something I catch myself doing all the time. I'm constantly holding my breath, and I also do this sucking in thing, because when I'm standing up tall, you know how you like do this, like, because I always try to reset my posture, because I have terrible posture, but then when I reset my posture, I don't breathe properly. So,
and that's a trauma response, Lara. It based on, and please hear this with love, it's based on a little bit of shame. You didn't transition your posture to feel better or to be in alignment. You got triggered by shame that your posture isn't good most of the time, and you have to do.
Oh, I've had people comment on my posture all the time. I'm constantly pushing my shoulders back, and like, it doesn't help when you've got big chest either, because you're constantly like this, So yeah, it's a challenge, especially for women, to have good posture and to be sure that they're breathing properly. Yes,
yeah, for sure. How tall are you?
5'9.5", almost 5'10".
And you're very tall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's one of those things you're constantly relearning the best way to hold yourself in more regards than you think.
Yeah. And here's the funny piece of all of this that will kind of tie into everything we're talking to. Human beings think that so I think that's still wrong. Oh yeah, we got it. Never mind. As human beings, we think that it has to start with the physical. And that's just a temporary solution. Like, you can change your posture, but the second you're not consciously aware of it, it's going to shift back. What we want to change is the spiritual energy. And so tell me about what your posture looks like when you think it's not good posture. And I'll tell you what the spiritual.
Do you ever see that statue, The Thinker?
Like this?
I'm constantly doing this. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So can I share with you what that means metaphysically?
Yes, please.
Okay. So we do this. We cover this part of our face and we protect our throat when
Okay.
we
Yeah.
feel that there is a potential that we're going to be humiliated by what we speak. We are afraid that
It's
our
happened a
audience,
couple times. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
that
That
our
resonates.
audience, and I'm not talking about you guys, I'm talking about the general collective. We're afraid that our audience isn't going to receive our message, so we tone it down. We don't necessarily do the whole. So if your spirit guide came and said, you know what, you need to tell her to get her shit together, your spirit guide is saying that because that's all she's going to hear. But instead, you say, okay, your guide wants you to start caring about yourself more.
No, I definitely need the expletives to get my attention.
Right.
They know to drop some big ones in there.
This position is the way in which you have trained your spiritual bioenergetic field to tone your shit down. And so every time you do this now, I want you to remember, I'm not toning myself down.
So when I do this, I really need to do this.
Right? Yeah. So that's one important awareness, is that physically you're just going to be like, oh, I shouldn't do that. But why shouldn't you do that? Because when you do that, you're telling the universe, you're telling other people's energy that you'll tone yourself down so they're more comfortable. No. What
I
other
have big energy that resonates. Yes.
What other posture?
Somebody else give us another example. Yeah, what posture do you guys recognize when you do something like that? I have a feeling that what if I'm leaning on my chin and I'm alone? Michelle says.
This is even more important, Michelle, because in the moment of what's going in your mind, you're telling yourself to tone your shit down. You're telling yourself to be seen or not be seen, but definitely not to be heard. This is literally us having to support the weight of our own voice. Literally.
Wow.
Yeah. I saw Summer says rounded shoulders, but what I love about her explanation is it's so physical. She said rounded shoulders started for me with breastfeeding babies about 2 years ago. I want to shift that. The rounded shoulders started for you, Summer, when you believed that you were now responsible for protecting that baby. You've literally shrunk your energy over its energy. And I want to tell you something. That baby is way more powerful than you or me. And so when you give yourself permission to know how powerful that child is, and instead of you thinking you need to protect it, I'm saying it because I don't know who it is, protecting it, and you let its energy, which is the whole purpose it chose you, and I am actually reading this energetically, that child chose you to remind you who the swear word you are. And so I want you to shift out of thinking that you need to protect their energy and allow them to show you how big your energy is.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, that was really awesome.
We don't recognize how much we reshape our bodies for our children.
100%. 100%. Elga asked, does stretched out neck mean I'm reaching to the stars and to my home planet? I would love to believe that, but let me give you the metaphysical message of that. And if it's okay, I do actually want to connect to your energy. Thank you. So what that is in physical terms, they call it a subluxation, but it's a subluxation between C2 and C3. And at that space is our stellar chakra. This is the gateway where all of what needs to be channeled sits in a bowl waiting for us to be ready. And you elongate your neck to literally pour into your biome what you're ready to digest from the cosmos. And so I'm going to teach you something really cool, which is important, because when our stellar chakra collapses, which is what happens, we fear expressing ourselves as joy, which is the human energy. Zach Bush also is starting to share that although love is the biggest energy, it's not the most powerful energy. Authenticity is. And when our authenticity collapses at that C3, we're afraid of everything. And so there's this really cool physical, but very spiritual, simple process that I'm going to teach you. And I'll tuck my hair behind me. What we're doing when we do this is we're aligning what yes means, because sometimes we'll be like, I am not going to do that. Or we're going to say, I want to do that so much. That is actually a spiritual distortion. Our physical and our spiritual are absolutely conflicted. And so it takes about 90 seconds. It takes 90 seconds, but you'll say yes, 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 and then no, 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 no. Then maybe, 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 maybe. That's also when you're stretching your neck out, is the maybe I won't be afraid of joy today. Maybe, maybe, maybe. And then you're going to do something weird called chicken. So your shoulders and your hips don't move, but your whole cervical spine does. It's but what it does is it unlocks, and you will hear and feel the stellar chakra unlock. And in that moment, you have a bowl that divine intelligence channels information into. And as soon as you're ready to, because we're not always ready to receive the information that's been channeled to us, it often comes to us before we need it, so that when we need it, it's available. And so this stellar chakra rests at that cervical spine 3. And when you need it, it drops into your biome, and every cell's like, okay, we've got new orders. Help her remember, help him remember, help them remember. And all of a sudden they become little magnets, and people, places, things, scenes, situations, and scenarios come. And if you choose joy and authenticity, you expand. If you choose fear and doubt, you contract.
Beautifully said. Thank you for that. That's a whole new perspective on things. I'm going to be adjusting myself more often now.
I'm the master of new Listen, Lara, if I could sit and do just this all day, this would be my perfect human day.
Aww.
Like, ask me questions about your body, and I will tell you what your spirit wants you to say, wants you to know. So cool.
So if somebody would like a private session to ask questions about something they've been going through, they can also contact you through that link tree, yeah?
Yeah, but why would you pay $379 to do that? I have inside of a Starr, I feel like it's free for you guys if you're in the paid membership, or it's $18, which is still great. It's called Metaphysical Messages with Dr. Traci. And so the second, is that true? Yeah. I was about to say the wrong day, and my guides were like, wrong day! The second and the fourth Thursday of every month, I do a 90-minute session. And that's what we do. We do 3 drops into the body, and I tell you what the surface trauma is, what the story is, but what the root of the trauma is. But I will also ask if there's anything that you need to interpret. And it's really cool because I can do it here, but I ask permission to go into your energy. And so I'll tell you what the book Metaphysical Messages would tell you, but what it means to your frequency and vibration. And so that is, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's free for your Astara paid members.
Thank you. That's so kind of you. Ariana had a good question. What did Dr. Traci study that taught her this about the body?
So it started I'll give you a really quick summary. It started with yoga and meditation, and then I was a psychotherapist, and then I did a mastery in chakras. I've done Ayurveda certification. I have a bachelor's of metaphysical science. I have a master's in metaphysical science and a doctorate in metaphysics that I studied energy medicine, and I created my own energy medicine technique. Then I have 3 different degrees of Reiki. I'm an attuned and initiated mystic in a mystery school. I'm about to finish 1,000 hours in shamanic training and a shamanic apprentice training. And I have a doctorate in metaphysical psychology. So you tie those things together over the last 20 years, and it's all bullshit. Because my guides have told me the answers all along. So because I was terrified of speaking my big truth, I went and got all of those swear word pieces of paper so that I could tell these messages, because your guide told me what to say to you.
You definitely have like this Hermione Granger vibe about you, for sure. She knows all the things, you guys. She's learned it all. Yeah, but it's wonderful how you're right. That insight that comes through us is the most powerful, most important thing of all.
It's the most important. And it's the most disregarded by our own selves. Like, nobody knows you better than you. But you don't know you if you haven't gone inside to find you instead of outside to find you.
Wow. That's a mic drop moment right there. Chopped perfectly. Thank you so much, Dr. Traci. This has been a phenomenal conversation today. We're so blessed. Thank you for all this added insight and also for all the things that you do for the community. And I love the 21 days. I think that's a perfect way of kind of getting people into a new rhythm and to really get a stronger basis of understanding of what their body really needs. So wonderful. Hermione Traci, Olga said.
Yeah, so good. So good. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you.
Cherie said, I also feel that I have to prove myself through certificates. I also collect them.
Oh, I love them. They're all over. Like, it's like
I was going to say your wall. They're everywhere. They're beautiful.
It's like, I'm so swear word awesome. Look at all those pieces of paper. One day.
I love that. What a fun conversation. Thank you so much, Dr. Traci. And thank you to everybody. You know, your comments in this really make the conversation. And we're so grateful for everybody that joins us. You guys are living the dream, as they say. You know, it's really not, it's a gift to be this awakened and consciously aware in this moment on this planet right now. It's a huge gift. It's like that, as Dolores would say, the golden ticket is in our hand.
Isn't it though?
Mm-hmm.
We just have to believe that's true. Let's make that pact today. We're going to believe that we have the golden ticket. We already have the golden ticket.
Oh, beautiful. Oh, thank you, everybody. I love you guys. And I love you too, Dr. Traci. Thank you for joining us today. I hope you all have a magical day and make sure that you check it out. And there we go. We got the link for you right there. Perfect.
Beautiful. Thanks,
See you soon, everybody. Have a great day. Love you guys. See you guys. Bye. Thank you, Dr. Traci.